Sometimes, content creators just suck. No, really. I find a lot of them disingenuous at best and outright manipulative at worst. And then weirdos gravitate towards them and echo every single nonsensical word they heard in the video or social post. Like sheep. It's either all about ragebait, or it's all about the views, the clicks, the likes. Gotta tap that vein and get that content drip. I wouldn't be surprised if a content creator proclaimed a worm with 10 arms is coding Battlefield, and they have proof, and a ton of their viewers would immediately click the video ready to not only hang on every word, but believe every single statement within the video. But for whatever reason, there's been a ton of it this week in regards to this game, so let's get into it. Off the bat, we have a slew of videos and posts all over the interwebs about the resources comment made by Alexia and how big mad some got, others had concerns, and others still thought it was an excuse for what they believe to be a failed game. First off, define resources. Are we talking software, hardware, personnel, all of the above? Also, define the parameters of what you want in size and type of resources to do what exactly. Okay, so I get to hit two birds with one stone here. I watched a few videos recently where two completely different kinds of content creators decided to opine on the resources comment made last week. And both of them didn't seem to understand some things. Now, normally I would walk away, shake my head, and just think, dumbass. But other times I think it's necessary to provide context, especially when the aforementioned creators didn't stop long enough to even do that. Provide context. No, they were too big up in their feels about a comment that they couldn't even bother themselves to stop their mumbling and ramblings in the fetal position to take a moment to really understand what's going on. Now, remember, I've made mention of this before, but it seems we gotta bring out the whiteboard and spell things out slowly in purple marker. I love how these kids seem to think that if you throw more money or personnel at something, you will automatically get the instant results you think you should get. See, kiddos, that's not how this works. It's never been how this works. It seems some folks are all up in their feels about how they believe the allocation of resources for games like Battlefield 6 is the source of all our evils. Some even suggest it's a lack of allocated resources. So, firstly, I can definitely tell two things here right off the bat. One, anyone saying allocations or lack thereof clearly never served in the U.S. Armed Forces. Two, none of them seem to have worked in corporate America. Because that's how this works. You are working with what is provided for you. And I keep needing to come back to this, and this makes this the fourth time I've had to go over this. One of the biggest complaints is that Battlefield Studios has 4 studios, and these kids keep pointing to this as the reasoning behind their anger and rage about what they believe is a severe lack of content. So, let's say it louder for these kids in the nosebleed seats. DICE. DICE. And again, fucking DICE is the only studio out there of all 4 creating and developing multiplayer maps. It's only DICE. Just DICE. Fuck me. Do I gotta say DICE one more fucking time? Fuck you. It's just DICE. Ripple Effect handles just the BR and Portal and assets for new experiences once DICE finishes the maps they were working on. Criterion handles the campaign single-player experiences. They add additional assets once DICE has completed their phases in the map development. Motive handles the cinematic events, single-player assets, and single-player experiences in tandem with Criterion. So let's look at this from a restaurant point of view. Ripple Effects handles the side items. Your French fries, the side of veggies, that sort of shit. Criterion handles the garnishes, the drinks, and appetizers. Motive handles the condiments, the napkins, the silverware, if you will. Meanwhile, Dice is on the grill with the steak. So answer me this, assholes. Do you send the waitress who handles the straws and silverware she just handed you to help the fucking cook because the filet you asked for is taking 5 minutes too long to cook because you didn't have the foresight to ask for it butterflied? No. You do not ask the straw girl to grab tongs and spatulas and be shoulder to shoulder with the cook while he's grilling up the meat for you. Like, where did you get this fantasy idea that 4 studios are busy at work pounding keys for coding on maps like it's the printout machines? A simple search even provides this information and it only takes 60 fucking seconds. But no, we're gonna make an 11-minute video about how there's a lack of allocated resources, or a 21-minute video that they're just not happy about said resources because it's not like the old days. Man, them old days you looking at? Rose-tinted glasses, my dude. Or a 12-minute video about your views about how you think the devs lied. Guys, it seems to me you didn't pay close enough attention when the game was announced, interviews were had, or paid any attention to the fucking fine print. And that is all on you. Okay, so some of these folks simply are just not happy with the direction the franchise is allegedly going. That's fine. Then why are you still bitching about it? Seems to me you have 2 choices here, kiddos. Adapt and overcome and learn how things are now, or walk away completely. Leave the game. Leave the topic of Battlefield alone and never touch it again. Make room for me. Someone who enjoys the game and the content. Someone who's been around long enough to witness the evolution of gaming from Pong all the way up to today. So fucking what if Battlefield wants to see if they could be as successful or more so using a similar method Activision does with Call of Duty by releasing Battlefield titles every year or every other year? Who the fuck cares? But Hannibal, Battlefield's identity. Man, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Evolution. Adapt or die, my dudes. Now, look, for you noobs, I'm not in any way, shape, form, or fashion suggesting we as consumers not say anything when we don't like a product. What I'm saying is this. The folks big mad about the game, the company, the direction of the game, the content, etc., they're a vocal minority. These are the same assholes who drop meme-ish images in their video and socials on the Steam charts and proclaim, "The game has died!" Statements of, "Look at the player count." Okay, so a couple of things here. Since when and why did people give a flying blue fuck about player count? Like seriously, when did this become a thing?
You're a lifesaver.
Let me ask another way. How can you sit there with 500, 600, 700 hours in this game, grind through the weapons, the modes, the gear, and what have you, and then point to player drop and go, "See, the game sucks"? I mean, you're like one of the worst human beings on the planet with that bullshit. Why? Because if you do it with the game, you're going to do it with everything else in life. Therapy. You need therapy. And I've seen a few videos and posts about some derivative of they're already working on Battlefield 7. Why, yes. Yes, they are. They have been since before Battlefield 6 hit the proverbial shelves. Guys, do you really truly believe in your heart of hearts that an entire development team for a specific title stays at that title from conception until death? If so, I have some candy in a van for you. It's called pre-production, and every game company does it. EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda, and yes, even the almighty Activision. Guys, when a game's pretty much in the bag, some of these resources are reallocated to the next project. That's part of job security, ladies and gentlemen. This is part of what Alexia Christofi was referring to. It's how their house runs. Battlefield uses multiple studios on one game at a time, not a rotation, which means the same team must support live service and build new content simultaneously. So once one title is considered complete, some of the personnel start working on the next project in the pipe, while the Left Behind folks launch the game, address bugs, provide support, and additional content through the game's life. Meanwhile, the new project is started. Once that project gets to a certain point, it's about that time for the skeleton crew or end-of-life support for the current game to enter the chat. Now, in comparison, since 2003, the Call of Duty series has produced 24 mainline titles, which averages roughly about one per year. Quantity over quality. Now, a few key points define this cadence. You have annual premium release. This is your boxed paid main title every fall. Studio rotation. This includes Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer, and taking turns, giving each studio roughly around 3 years per game. And then you have your support studios. Raven and others handle multiplayer, Warzone integration, and live ops. Call of Duty uses a multi-studio rotation to ship a full game every year. This rotation is why Call of Duty can maintain a yearly schedule without each individual studio being forced into a one-year developmental cycle. So while Call of Duty's annual cadence is stable, Battlefield's map cadence is constrained by the fact that the same team must maintain the game while building new maps, which is exactly what Alexia Christofi was pointing to. The interesting thing here is that you have these folks bitching about Call of Duty's releases and content, which is why a lot of them came to Battlefield, just to turn around and bitch about Battlefield's release and content schedule, and then have the brass balls to go, well, Activision could do it, so why can't Battlefield? Bitch, you just sat there and complained about how Activision was doing it. And then you're going to come to my game, not like how they do it, and then turn around and praise the way Activision does it? I mean, get the fuck out of here. So if Battlefield 7 comes out in a year, or more likely a Battlefield title, God, please let it be Bad Company 3. Who the fuck cares? You obviously don't, because you bitched about Call of Duty shit. Came over to our wheelhouse, bitched about that, and then turned around and said Call of Duty is the standard. Like I said, get the fuck out of here and shut the fuck up already. I saw where one guy was raging about the quality comment from EA DICE and how that we don't want to sacrifice quality concerns him because of seasons will most likely be 2 or 3 maps, some limited time modes, and outsourced skins. And again, you really don't care, so why are you saying anything about it? Most of us don't care. You're getting at a very least 8 maps a year, and at most 12 a year. And the game is slated for a 5-year lifespan. So let's see. That's 2 maps times 4 seasons. Okay. And just in case, 3 maps times 4 seasons. Okay. All right. Now let's multiply 8 times 5. Okay, now multiply 12 times 5. Well, shit, my dude. That's 40 maps minimum and 60 maps max. And you're concerned that the devs want to make sure they didn't sacrifice quality? Man, get the fuck out of here. In this high-speed demand of the gaming industry, at the size EA is or Activision is, you can have one or the other, quantity or quality. You cannot have both. I mean, they stated they wanted to focus on the quality more than the quantity, which sounds like transparency to me, motherfuckers. And you're bitching about not getting your maps? Man, then just stop playing the fucking game. Anyway, the games are only written off after they reach a certain monthly active player count. I went over this before. And EA has already stated before that yes, they want to publish at Activision's pace and model, but this is a statement made by Michael Patcher, who is an industry analyst. He speculates for a fucking living. He stated that Byron Bede told him that EA's long-term plan is to build a 3-studio rotation similar to Activision's, but that it would take 5 to 6 years before Battlefield could realistically reach that cadence. And it's only been 4 months since Battlefield 6's launch, so I'm sure we have some time, my dude. You should probably calm the fuck down. Why? Well, if what Pratcher said is indeed true, EA would need time and money for potential future 3-studio rotation and annualization plans for Battlefield. Like Bede said, years. And Battlefield 7 within a year, indeed. I call bullshit on that. So anyone saying, but an analyst said EA wants to squeeze as much juice out of Battlefield as they can and want the Call of Duty treatment, it's not any kind of proof it's going to happen because of the following. Pratcher is an industry analyst. His job is to speculate. Vince passed away, leaving a big gap in the franchise's direction. No official word from EA on Julian Garrity's role as of yet as to what his position will be. Remarks made about the Call of Duty treatment was stated in mid-2025, and we haven't heard shit about it since. So, dude, the argument doesn't hold water. The center cannot hold. So what do you really mean by not liking the direction they're going? And honestly, if you haven't touched the game in a while, why the fuck do you even care? I'm getting real tired of hearing people compare End of Life, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, or shit, Battlefield 5 against the birth of Battlefield 6. Man, get the fuck over yourselves. You cannot, with a straight face, compare End of Life with Start of Life. No, you can't. I mean, you can, but you look like an asshole. But I digress. How about you wait until the game is done before you start comparing things? Since a lot of you motherfuckers want to make claims and predictions, well, I can too. I bet you 2 things here. Those that have been naysaying Battlefield 6 for its content quantity will sing its praises at its end of life. And the other, they won't remember they bashed the shit out of it because they have amnesia. But right now, they piss and moan because the content isn't dropping hot and fast enough, and they want quality at the same time. None of them have the patience to wait and see the lifetime of the game. No, they want Battlefield 4 end of life at Battlefield 6's launch and are angry about not having it. I find that pathetic. Again, you really think more money or more resources is going to get those maps faster? Really? The kitchen is only so big and there's only so many burners on the stove. It's still going to take motherfucking time. No one cares if you think the map pool is shallow because we're only 4 months in. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Jesus wept. Oh, and let's not forget some people decrying the live service again this week. Man, some of those bitching about it were the ones that wanted it. It's way too late for you to be crying about it now, my dudes. That train has long left the station, never to return. This is the life now. You should probably start getting used to it. I mean, it is way past time for you to get used to it, but I guess no one told you yet. And this same person basically said every single thing surrounding the core game mechanics is utterly flawed, and no amount of maps, content, changes, or updates will matter. The hype is gone, and the game is dead. Yet, he was still streaming it and showing content, current content, and current game footage in the video? Dude, make up your mind. I can't tell if he's a fantastic actor and is the ultimate low-key troll mankind has ever seen, or he doesn't have an opinion of his own and just ebbs and flows with the audience. Because watching his videos, he's using one voice. Seeing his social posts is something completely different. And yes, I triple-checked 3 times. It's the same person. Like, dude's got multiple personalities waffling between this and that. One minute he's saying the game sucks because he hates the movement and the lack of content. The next minute he posts on another platform that we all need to be patient with EA and DICE and let them cook. And then the next minute he rages about the devs again. Like, look, I'm a content creator. I'm small compared to a lot of these guys. But sweet baby Jesus, I do my best to maintain my message, my content, and my approach. I'm not saying just some random bullshit go with every video. I'm not posting at 9 a.m. saying, DICE has gone too far, and then at noon, the same day, dropping, DICE are people too, and we need to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then at 3 p.m., the same after fucking noon, DICE are scum and they should be eradicated. My dude, you too should probably calm the fuck down. Maybe take a minute, catch your breath, and maybe give X a break for a day. I mean, maybe the audio you keep bitching about wouldn't be such an issue if you had a meeting with the voices in your head and you tell them to be quiet when you play the game. Yes, sir, address the committee and tell them to shush so you can hear. It's also very bold of you to demand changes to a game most people don't want and get mad you're not heard. I've covered this before. Changes to the game we all play in is primarily made with feedback. That's spelled with an F-E-E-D-B-A-C-K, just in case you have never heard that word before. If Season 2 isn't turning out the way you wanted, well, be mad at the real villains here. Be mad at the players that provided the feedback in the direction you hate it's going into. Because DICE does listen. They just didn't listen to you. Sorry, playa. That's how it works. And no, shouting louder isn't going to make them change their minds. Again, sorry. Well, no, not really. And the weird thing is, it's just a game. I've listened to your videos, dude. You're going to pop a blood vessel before you hit 35 if you can't figure that out. Not going to lie, my hood rats. Shit be weird this week. While I've been trying to get back to we're here to have fun videos and trying to provide context, others seem to be losing their fucking minds. And then we have this guy. One dude is attempting to sound an alarm about a recent survey from Battlefield Studios. Dude believes this survey signals a potential massive change in direction for the franchise. Man, I got this survey and I didn't get that vibe. So let's see what's what. So dude's first red flag centers around the trust part of the survey. Now, he points out that instead of asking about gameplay features, the questions focus on sentiment and trust. Like, do you have confidence in the future of Battlefield? Or do you trust the studios to make the right decisions? And of course, my dude here strongly disagrees with both. He argues that after the catastrophic failures of Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 2042, DICE hasn't proven they deserve any slack. Okay. Battlefield 2042's issue was similar to Battlefield 4's, as both launches had issues as EA tried something new in regards to the netcode. But anyway, Battlefield 6 had a successful launch and a pretty tight Season 1 and 2, so I don't know what he's raging on about. Next up, he's got this wild-ass conspiracy about EA's financial control versus community desires things going on in his video. He seems particularly vocal about the server browser and claims EA is relinquishing control by refusing to implement a real server browser because they want to force everyone into matchmaking algorithms.
Enemy contact in my air!
A real server browser?
Contact enemy infantry!
The server browser looks the same to me in function as it always has been. You scroll, you figure out what you want to play, click it, and go. Seems easy enough. And god damn it, yes, they want matchmaking algorithms because, again, feedback. Players had stated they got tired of waiting for other players to show up before the match would start. You can't have your cake and eat it too, my dude. One or the other. But if you're actually talking about persistent servers as far as the server browser is concerned, EA stated that they were working on a back-end rollout regarding this. They specifically mentioned that in official persistent servers are being tested under the Battlefield Official and BF Portal Official tags in the browser right now to ensure players can stay in the same lobbies for Conquest and Breakthrough. As of Season 2, which is update 1.2.1.0 for you motherfuckers, in that patch, EA is using official persistent servers in specific regions to combat the bot lobby complaints. So, my dude, it sounds to me like it's more of an UI issue, specifically how you don't like it and it looks like, instead of it being a feature issue. He goes on about the kill switch strategy that he believes EA has. Basically, he believes EA wants to prevent a repeat of Battlefield 4, where player-run servers allow the game to live forever. EA wants games to die, so you're forced to buy the next title. Let me repeat this again. EA doesn't own servers. They are rented through contractual agreements made by server providers. So I could understand if EA doesn't wish to support third-party server services, but EA doesn't have this magical kill switch thing this dude is speaking of. And for the love of God, any company would want to sell their latest and greatest. Doesn't matter that it's EA. Every company does this. It's called, hold on, let me look it up. It's called business. And that's what EA is. It's a fucking business. He even goes into this progression and premature release theories. He referenced the interview with Alexia Christophe, how she stated that progression systems needed a rework because players felt worn out and frustrated by repetitive tasks. Hey, based on feedback provided by players through surveys and shit. However, he suggests Alexia has this tell in the interview, claiming that she admits DICE had features planned for launch and they didn't have time for. Okay, a lot of games have this issue. Cool ideas that don't initially make it into the launch or first few seasons. Hey, future content. But this dude says this didn't have time for is confirmation that the game was released prematurely in October. And then he goes on this wild emotional roller coaster ride of continuous development shock. He was surprised to learn that 4 different studios, that's DICE, Criterion, Motive, and Ripple Effect, are working across different time zones. That would be Sweden, the UK, Canada, and the United States, to maintain the live services. Okay, dude, have you been living under a rock? Firstly, anyone who paid attention to the interviews, video clips, and releases from EA, everyone not only knows there are 4 studios, they also know they are located across the globe. Secondly, all 4 studios are not maintaining the live services, not in the way he's implying here. It's very disingenuous to make statements that 4 studios make the game. Yes, there are 4 studios, but they all do 4 different things. EA is responsible for running, maintaining, and pushing out the live services after the 4 studios are done with their stuff. I'm sorry if this is shocking to you, but to believe a survey isn't for DICE It's for the EA shareholders. That's part of the course for business. It's called capitalism. Whether a company sees lower than estimated sales in a product or not, surveys like this are normal and part of the business model. It will be sent out due to massive player loss or not. It's data gathering, my guy. You need to calm the fuck down. All of you need to calm the fuck down. Yes, sir, there's so much nonsense going on based solely on speculation and perceived innuendo and making miles of content out of it. And they don't provide context, just a wink wink, nod nod for clicks. It's worse than AI slop, if I'm being honest. I know what the fuck I just said. It's worse than garbage. Why? Well, a lot of these content creators have been around for a long time. So they should not only know by now how gaming industries work, they should also know better than to waffle in their opinions every other day. Am I saying you should stop watching them? Well, no. Far be it from me to tell you what you should and should not watch. What I am saying is, I think it's not worth anyone's time that can think for themselves. It's not how I wish to operate and not a road I want to go down. If it means slower growth, so be it. At least my channel provides context for a better overall understanding of how this shit works. You ain't gotta like it. Shit, you ain't gotta be down with it. But if you're gonna disagree, bring receipts, my dudes. Well, it's Friday, my hood rats. You left the boss at the office, you got big weekend plans, and you're gonna go shoot things. Go forth and commit your in-game atrocities. Before you go, check out the video cards and check out the video description for the last day I pimp out this month's veteran support group, because Monday we'll start a new one. If you have any suggestions on a support group for our military vets, message me and we'll work something out. Enjoy your weekend, folks. And until the next one, out.